And here we go. And here we have it. And you can hear my laundry spinning. Welcome to Shelf Life number 45. And it is a Friday. And I'm sorry, but you're welcome. I'm doing this before the weekend because I'm traveling this weekend and I don't want to have an excuse when I come back. Oh, I didn't do it because blah, 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 blah. Because I have enough to talk about. So, and let's just take a moment to appreciate the work I've done. I don't know if you can see over there, but we got all my penguins. How cool of a collection. These we'll get into. I put together all my big boy cool guy books, but I don't have a lot of Dalkey, so these are together. I only have one deep vellum minus the one we're going to be talking about, so now I have two. IJ is obviously going to go there, but I have all of my NYRBs. Cool. Then I have all my new directions. Then I have vintage. I didn't know vintage made so many. Up to here. And then Grove, Open Letter, Picador, HarperCollins. So I kind of organized by publisher. It's not done. It's not a finished thing, but I just like the way this looks. I think this is cool. What do you think? I think it's refreshing as we settle in. Got more coffee. I think this is cup number 4 or 5 for today. Like I said, I'm traveling, so I took the day off. It's early, went for a run, and I'm kind of like getting ready to leave. But I wanted to do this. We will be talking about today these two books. I finished Moby D, which allowed me to cross it off of my TBR BD, to be read before death list that I made in May. And this will change with time, but I'm not allowed to edit this list until I'm done. Just a refresher, we have Moby D, The Recognitions, Monte Cristo, which I finished this year, Don Quixote, Brothers K, 100 Years of Solitude, it's right over there, East of Eden, Grapes of Wrath, War and Peace, and Atlas Shrugged. These are the things to be read before death. You know, I mean, it is looming for all of us. But we finished Moby D, and we're going to talk about that first because you might want to turn it off when I start talking about the next book. I mentioned before taking a Nantucket trip to talk about this book, but that's wildly expensive and my calendar's full, so we might have to push that off to next year. Even though it is so local, I just can't seem to find the time. It looks cool though. I keep saving videos on Nantucket. Very interesting, and there's a special pair of pants I want to get from there just for fun. Crazy local. Even though, you know, it's a couple hours away, but whatever. Let's talk about this. I didn't do a full, deep review. It's not a book report, even though that has been the reason this is The White Whale. In high school, I was supposed to do a big thing on Melville, and I kind of BS'd it, and I kind of just, lots of long sentences for the sake of sucking up pages, and I passed. So, but I always knew, it's like, you should read this book. You should get into it. And I finally went back to it, and it was awesome. I totally think that this is a grown-up book, not a teenager book. Let's see. And just a couple things that I had written down. I love Ahab. Ahab is just psycho. I love it how he says, like, what was it? If the sun insulted me, I would strike the sun if it insulted me. It's like, that's a quote that I'm bringing with me. I like it when he calls Stubb, or I think it was Stubb. He calls Stubb like a dog, and like, don't call me a dog. Who do you think you're talking to? You're twice a dog and a doggy. Like you could tell the seething vitriol that's coming out of him. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about your feelings, and single-minded focus. With that being said, also the part where he throws his pipe overboard because it's a distraction. I want to know, is that because he's impulsive or because he's disciplined? He recognizes his smoking as a distraction and a hindrance to him. And did he's just like, man, I don't need this anymore? Or is it like, this is a distraction? Because I'm a former smoker. I loved cigarettes. If I could have any vice back that was like not bad for you, that would be the one. And I had quit and thrown many of packs out the window a number of times because I was done. And it's like, I wish that was the last time. So I'm wondering, like, was that the one and only time that he quit smoking? Like, you know, before the end. Yes, it was his last time quitting smoking, but like, had he done that before, or did he just like single-minded focus it? Like, I want to know. But Ahab, wild man, like awesome, and like when I thought it was kind of brutal, but like very mission focused. When that one guy, he's like, I lost my son at sea. It's like tough. We're looking for the white whale. It's like, bro, the guy's kids out there. So, another interesting thing, everyone seems to say that there are throwaway chapters, or like it's like hard narrative, the psychology of like, who's this madman we're stuck on a boat with in the middle of the ocean, mixed with like encyclopedic knowledge of like rope tying and how to dissect a whale, the fat in its head, like all sorts of like nonsensical, like, why is this in here? And I was originally annoyed by it. Good coffee. I was originally annoyed by it, but dig me with this. Because back then, people didn't have the internet or were able to really understand what was going on in the world, Melville had to really go into the weeds and explain what whaling essentially was, what it was about. They didn't have photos of these whales. They had no idea what these monsters were. And if you look at old pictures and drawings of the time, it's like, that's not what a whale looks like. And like the blue whale would be way out, and it's like, you can't understand anything about this. But now, with science and technology, we have an understanding of whale physiology, anatomy, their breeding patterns, what they actually look like. So that's taken care of, but we don't have whaling right now, at least not like that kind of whaling. Of course, there's industrial, disgusting whaling, and the Sea Shepherd, and like, you can watch those documentaries, but that's more modern. So the way that Melville described everything to a time and an audience that has no understanding is kind of relevant to now, because I'm interested in that old school maritime, like, how did you do this with a compass and with ropes and with like a wooden boat and like tackles, and like, how did you do this? This is crazy. So it's like, I also have no frame of reference. I think I tried to look it up on Google. There are a couple photos of old whaling stuff. I know that there's museums, especially being so local. Like, I'm in New England. I could go into it, but it's just like this whole era of time that just went right over my head or under my nose, or just like, I completely ignorant of it. Like, I know it's there, but it's like, I never really looked into it. And his description, and even though you read the throwaway chapters, I learned a ton from this. And it's like, it's funny because it was written for an audience that didn't have an understanding or couldn't see it, but now it's written. Now any audience that is reading it is also not going to have all the resources to understand what a real firsthand account would be. And I thought that was kind of cool. Like, it's like this sliver in time where it's like, no to this audience, no to that audience. I don't know. What do you think of that? Also, I thought it was cool how it was extremely local. It even mentioned my county in this book. Very cool. And it has references to this town, that town. It's like, I've driven through these towns. I've played a show in that place. I think that there's a bar down the street from there. So that was pretty cool. All right. Let's see. Now, I finished this book real fast. Like, the last 70 pages I plowed through, because, here, let me put this right here. Get a good shot of the back of my head. Because this girthy mother came in. I had this on pre-order for a year. Take a look. We got our first spine break, natural spine break right there. Schattenfroh. Michael Lentz, translated by Max Lawton. We have begun. Look at this. One calls this writing. So, I think, first of all, why did I just like clear my calendar for this? Number one, it sounds awesome. Number two, there's a whole lot of hype behind it, and I create content. And number three, because I think that this is going to be a very big and important book in the future, I think it's pretty cool to participate in the initial reading and the initial discussion and the early adoption of this literature. I think it's cool to be part of that scene. So I'm very excited to do that because all the other books I read, I'm like at least 10 years past it. Like, I think the most recent one that I read that was relevant was Solenoid, which was dope, and coincidentally, another Deep Vellum. So, I got this the other day. I was very excited, and that made me plow through the rest of Moby D, and very helpful. Andre from the Untranslated, he did a visual guide on his blog for this because this references a lot of art pieces, and he puts up a picture, the page number, and the sentence that references it. Very cool to follow along with. I think that's the untranslated.com or blog or WordPress. It's old school, but it works. So I have notes on this. I'm planning on reading it in a month. So I think that's going to wind up being book pace, about 33 pages a day. And I am on page 150, 151. And I'm doing my due diligence to annotate things. And I'm going to read a couple things I annotated. I'm going to talk about the first 150 pages. So if you don't want to hear about the first 150 pages, like and subscribe, leave a comment, and tell me when you're going to come back. But I'm going to talk about it right now. The first 50 pages, the first initial thoughts and feelings I had. So just get ready. First of all, is this a schizophrenia simulator? I have that written a couple times in here where it's like, I can't tell if I'm being gaslit or if this is the reality of what's happening, or are you seeing things, or is this a meditation, or are you locked in a cell? Are you in your mind, or what's going on? Like, the main character, his name or his reference to himself is nobody or nothing. I don't know exactly what it is, but nobody or nothing. But I have some notes. I'm just going to read them ad nauseum right now. Schattenfroh, notes from page 45. This is when I decided, hey, I'm going to write some notes. Thus far, one character, but also there's a Fright Bearer Society, Schattenfroh as a master. It seems we are in a dark room hooked up to some ocular device to record the mind and transcribe all parts of being, thought, memory, images into written language, perfect written language. Emphasis on perfect written language and sensory perception, inner and outer existence like meditation. Cannot trust the narrator. Am I being gaslit? Is this psychopathy? The paranoia and work to read is enticing. Fun read so far, page 59. Can't tell if we are in a memory or a dream or what. Thoughts of mother and father, skipping to a prison cell roll call and mixing the thoughts of images of that. Cannot decipher reality still. Is this a schizophrenia simulator? Another note. Okay, then they start talking about more about nothing or nobody's mother and father, how the mother and father, or the father worked in some sort of an office. And then they start talking about a bomb raid of some kind that happened in November 16th, 1944. I don't have that battle name, but there is a section that I'm going to show right now that is, look at this, handwritten names. These are names, and then look, there's a break in here, right? Look, ready? How many people simply disintegrate at 1700 degrees Celsius and no longer even have a name? So these names are the names of all the people that perished in one of these bombings. And it has their last name, their first name, and their age. And I don't know what it was. Like, this hit me in a different way than I had expected. Here, I wrote down. The handwritten names hit harder than I expected. One can't help but gloss over, but also feel guilt and grief. Humanized being handwritten too. The ages, especially children, made it quite the emotional experience, as well as the break and continuation of more names. Like, he hand wrote all these names, and then you think you're done, you think you've gone through it, and then it's like, here's a whole bunch more. It's like, oh, the never-endingness, relentlessness, continuation of more names. It was relentless and unending, such is life, And in quote from him, it is what it is. From nobody. So, I'm 150 pages in. I'm going to keep you guys updated because this might be a boring month for you upcoming, but this is all I'm going to be reading. I'm completely concentrating on this for two reasons. Number one, like I said before, to participate in the reading of this first edition in English. Very cool. I just like to be a part of it and to keep everyone updated, just try a different kind of review way of doing things. And also in October, we got a new pension coming out, Shadow Ticket. So I want same thing. I want everything gone for that. So we're going to be reading along with this. Feel free to read along with me, ask questions, and yeah, Schattenfroh. It's going to be dope. I can't wait to read this on the plane and during travels. But yeah, this is the main squeeze right now. Once again, like and subscribe. And I also have an announcement to make. Next week, all things going good, is a couple days before our 1-year anniversary for this show on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all spots. So I'm going to be doing a 1 year of Shelf Life and Macaroni books in review. So we're going to be going through over all the books I read, so that way it breaks up just going over this. But yeah, thank you guys again for watching. I hope you enjoyed this. Take care. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful long Labor Day weekend, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.